What's the most romantic experience you've ever had? Aww. Let's see, we got a bunch of replies here. Cuddling in a hotel room and having Taco Bell ordered to the hotel room. He was a bald white dude from Sock. He ghosted me, however. How romantic. We got a reply to that. Literally my same exact experience, but I'm the bald white dude. I didn't ghost her though. What happened then? We stayed together for a few years. Her mental health declined pretty badly, then mine did. Things went on too long and we didn't end up moving in together. So she broke up with me and left me for a less bald white dude. You may have dodged an impending bullet, Anon. If both of your mental health declined, not saying it's directly caused by the relationship, but if it's on a downward spiral and there's no indication of it getting any better, you get to avoid all of the potentially hazardous positions she may put you in. Keep trying, dude. Do I look like I've had any romantic experiences? Cuddling post-coital with my ex while he cried, and I cried at the sun setting, and he said something about, whatever happens between us, we'll always have this. We didn't actually break up for like another year and a half, so I don't know what that was getting at, but it's a nice memory. I really like cuddling with this guy recently in the back of his car under the rain and lights, while listening to classical music and stroking his hair as well. But that unfortunately didn't work out. Wish it had. I enjoyed talking with them about God. Reply to that. Non-retards are always suffering during relationships, even good ones, because they know that it's going to end and they even know why and how, so all they can do is try to appreciate the nice moments on their own terms. There's a little bit of nihilism for you. Most relationships fail, and heartbreak is devastating, so enjoy it while it lasts. And if it lasts for a long time, good on you. But these things always come to an end, whether it be via breakup or death. Keep your chin up, guys. There's plenty of things in life to enjoy. Romance being one of them. I held hands with a girl as we were walking through a huge crowd. Then she painted my nails black. I don't know if it counts as romantic though, since I don't love her and she doesn't love me. I mean, I guess we have to define our terms as to what romantic means. Here's the definition. Conducive to or characterized by the expression of love. Of characterized by or suggestive of an idealized view of reality. That works. Idealized view of reality. The warm fuzziness. I'm not an incel, but unfortunately my most romantic experiences with a girl were over text as a teenager. She was madly in love with me and we met each other in person at first, but she had too low self-esteem to meet me outside school after I left. Anyways, she used to say to me the generic kind of romantic stuff that somehow stuck with me, like, whatever happens, I will always love you. I'll never be able to forget you. And who knows what else. Me being me, of course, I managed to fuck it up a horrible way, as I wasn't as interested in her as she was into me, but I'll always kind of regret having been so cold with her. Shit happens, I guess. Taking a Ford somewhere secluded in World of Warcraft and sitting next to her while talking. Sometimes I would use the romantic picnic item too. She would say and do a lot of affectionate things all the time, including emotes. Sometimes she would even talk to me about sexual things. She was 24 and she knew that I was 13 at the time. There it is. Has a girl hig wee while I was sitting so her boobs were in my face and then she kissed the top of my head. Still not sure if she was into me or not. Sorry? I have never experienced anything close to romance. I'm a giga chud cell. It's over. My crush of 3 years gave me a warm hug on our last day of middle school. Never saw her ever again after. Stacy hit me with her car in the school parking lot last year. A guy telling me he'd moved countries for me and I believed him like a sucked these nuts. Very romantic. When a girl at the gas station stopped in front of my car and turned around and asked if it looked like she shit herself. The level of trust is something many will never understand or experience. We gotta reply to that. Damn, dude, you found an angel in the wild like that and just let her go? Reply to that. It was too much trust early on in the relationship. I have to keep the in their toes to know I'm not that easy. I like a chase. Sug these nuts, you need to resolve that. That's not a way to acquire a healthy relationship. A girl in high school had a crush on me and put her hand through my hair and told me I cut it too short. Probably my biggest regret. With that one petite Ukrainian MILF. I was 27? She was like 40 at least. She was laying on me and I could feel her hot breath on my lips. Visiting my long-distance relationship girlfriend in her country, spending the whole day out in the city and coming home with ice cream. The place we were renting had a rooftop balcony, so we sat up there and fed each other ice cream and watched the stars. A guy lifting me up and exclaiming how light I was. Obviously he wasn't into me because he was straight. He was probably just calling me a indirectly, but anyway, we got a lot of diverse replies here. Very nice. We went to an old movie theater and saw a 50s romantic movie. Then we had a candlelight dinner in a restaurant. We walked by the river while we chatted about everything and nothing. It began to rain, so we ran to my apartment. We kissed. He ghosted me a few weeks after. Sorry, Anon. That's the term idealized vision of life. or version, or whatever the definition stated. I had an affair with a woman I met at work. She had a boyfriend, but he didn't satisfy her intellectually or physically, and we lit each other on fire every time we were together. Neither of us could deny our feelings, and we had a few extraordinary months together, but ultimately she couldn't leave him, and she had to stop seeing me because we kept falling prey to our desires despite trying to be friends. I think of her often and miss her more than anything. The first time I felt totally held and seen by another person. Damn, shame on both of you guys. Have some integrity, Jesus. Why are you doing that to the other people who find you to be important in their lives? That's selfish. We gotta reply to that. Praying for you to both get shot in the head. Jesus. Oh God. An impending argument. Let's go. We gotta reply to that. You're a loser and you'll never have love. Reply to that. Already have you, scumbag. Both of you were evil and you deserve everything terrible that's coming to you. Keep crying, no one will ever see you. You're a terrible person, you know it's true. Both of you, especially her, living a life built on lies and betrayal like that. What a disgusting human being. I don't agree with how hostile you are, but I agree with your sentiment. That's the end of that argument. Go to a girl's house I've been talking to online after having talked her down from herself. Not a good start. She was a noble and lived in another country as me. Went to her house. We dressed up as well as we could and pretended we were cousins to her friends. Afterwards, I went back to her house. We watched a movie and I made love for the first time in her parents' bed. She was 19, I was 20. My boyfriend and I sharing a chocolate-covered fig together at the top of a giant dune on vacation. Someone replied with a WebM. What is this? Okay. That's what that is. Alrighty. Being half asleep on a couch during the night with the local nerdy girl on my high school trip. She was really ugly, but she didn't bully my heavily autistic ass, so we basically spent part of the night silently sitting next to each other. That and the trip back on the bus where my leg touched with hers, aka one of the few times I've had physical contact with strangers outside my family. Sometimes I still think about it. It was so warm. What a cruel existence it is to fear even the slightest contact. Damn, OP. Stay strong and you will one day be able to get over that. Comforting a guy I met online the night before he had to leave for military service. We talked over Discord till 3 a.m. because neither of us could find a way to say goodbye. He said I made him feel happy despite the circumstances and promised he'll come back to me. He was so kind and gentle. He didn't even want or anything like that. He just said he wishes he could have hugged me before he left. I've had IRL relationships, but nothing came close to the intimacy of that moment I shared with someone who I was practically an internet stranger on the other side of the world. One day he'll come back and I'll tell him how I feel. So many of these stories are really sad. And there's replies like this. Getting a hand from my then girlfriend in the woods. It was a beautiful experience in a beautiful area. Reply to that. My then girlfriend vomited on my in the woods while giving me a blow. For some reason it was a very romantic experience. Reply to that. Nice, lol, do you have a fetish for this now? Reply to that. I got a fetish for this when I read a long, extremely detailed post someone made about making some ex-girlfriend choke gruel and ultimately vomit while face her with his fat 1 month before I met her. So romantic, aww. I've had a lot of vacation trips with many girls, but the one in particular was with my main girl in Paris, with us having an amazing day ending in our hotel looking at the Eiffel Tower sparkling, and then beginning to kiss each other like animals and going at it all night, falling asleep together cuddling, knowing that nothing will beat this ever again. An Anon from here took me on a night walk around Christmas in the city, and we cuddled on a park bench looking at the Christmas lights and all the many decorated trees around the gazebo. I sat on his lap but got too scared and got off because my feet were off the ground. Reply to that. Why did it scare you? No reply to that. Getting kissed and hugged by a prostitute. A girl who I think wanted to f my brother hugged me when I was 16, but I'm a wizard now. My first kiss was when I was 16, around a year ago. I went to this overnight lame nerdy competition. Everyone was ugly except for this one really hot guy. We started talking and instantly clicked, and like 2-ish hours later he came over to my room and we watched Netflix, then basically just aggressively made out in bed for 3 hours until we both fell asleep. Then when I woke up he was gone, and my neck looked like I was beaten up because of hickeys. Talked to him later but never turned into anything, and I'm not built for relationships. We got a Greentext. Matched with older woman on Tinder, 12 years older than me. Her dad is rich, former CEO of Mossberg. Damn! She arrives by train wearing a fur coat. We go out to a bar and have some drinks. We click instantly. Same sense of humor, same taste in music, same life philosophy. I really like her but feel out of my league. She's basically a noble and I'm a peasant compared to her. After the bar we go into the forest for a night walk. It's a full moon and snowing. She tells me she's having a great time. Looks up at me, then smiles and kisses me on the cheek, then playfully walks away. I grab her hand and we make out under the snowy moonlight. She was only visiting my state and wanted me to move to Hawaii with her, but I didn't go through with it. I still care about her very much, but I can't see myself committing to her. We gotta reply to that. That's a cute story. I only f girls higher on the social ladder. Nobles and daughters of oligarchs. I don't know if I'm insane or if my life is unreal. Reply to that. What's your secret to bagging these nobles? Reply to that. Nothing. They were traumatized people and I was. I was well-meaning and grew up on the internet. Them too. So no secret, you just gotta have trauma. Oh, this one. I skimmed the first sentence and it's not looking good. Let's get to it! Cry more all you want. But the night that I lost my virginity to my older cousin after living with her for about 3 months and slowly becoming a thing, we talked about it a few nights before. She talked a lot about this needing to be something that I really wanted to do and wasn't just doing because. On the day in question, I got home from school, got greeted in the same wonderful way as usual, but she had dressed up. Walked up the stairs and she had set the table with lit candles in the whole 9 yards. I asked if she thought I should put on something different. She said that I should wear something that I was comfortable in. She made my favorite food. We talked for like an hour during and after dinner, and then she led me into her bedroom. I still remember watching her getting undressed in front of me. Us kissing and making out, she took my clothes off, and then the slow, careful, almost motherly way that she guided me and made sure that I felt good about the whole thing. Afterwards, she just held me, talked to me in bed for a bit. We showered together, and then finally I fell asleep with my head on her lap on the couch. I would pay so much money to experience that night one more time. Reply to that. What happened to your cousin? It didn't work out between the two of you? Reply to that. I grew up. She always said, one day you're going to find a girl your own age. And while the feeling was mutual between us, it was more of a, well, motherly relationship type of thing, I guess. It's a bit weird in hindsight. It was back then too. But I always knew that it wasn't going to last forever, which was sad, but it's not like she hardcore dumped me and threw me out of the house or anything. We still see each other at the family gatherings and stuff, and our relationship is definitely special in a way that I can't really describe. Damn. She groomed you so that she could use your young body without the repercussions, since from the very beginning she was always going to break it off and made you accept that fact. I'm not saying she's evil or that you should cut contact from her, but she is a deviant. That's a good point. Reply to that. This is why I've never told anyone IRL. Reply to that. It sounds like you had something really special. I wish your cousin me. She sounds mega hot and I wish she was the motherly woman to witness my pubertal emergence. Reply to that. This is the last reply to that string of, replies. You can call it if you want to. She took me in during the worst time in my life, where I needed to get out of my hometown. I had to leave my parents, my sister, and my friends to start at a new school and everything. She made sure every need I had was met. She talked to me about all the awful stuff that I had to endure. She made sure I talked to a counselor. She stayed with me as I called my parents and my sister and talked to them, which was difficult at the time. Obviously I missed them. Held me as I bawled my eyes out and she went out of her way to do things that I wanted to do. I realized that I am digging myself deeper down this hole, but it was me who asked her initially about trying stuff. The first time I asked her, she talked to me for probably an hour about consent, our age difference, how it's supposed to feel good, and how I should never do anything that I don't 100% feel like I want to. After all that, she told me to sleep on it. That woman may have technically molested me, but I never once felt like I was getting used or that I had something done against my will. End blog post. All of that is good and dandy, it's just the age difference and her being your cousin. Those are the two serious problems with your story. Say if you met in a different lifetime and you were two completely different strangers and you had this type of interaction. That would have been very healthy and good, but because of the context, no, it's bad. Last one, a green text. Talking with femboy, never met him. Invite him to go bowling. Nah, I just want to come over. Invite him to do something else. Nah, I just want to come over. Okay, he comes over. Oh my god, 11 out of 10. I put on a movie, 15 minutes into it. I'm bored, let's go to bed. We go into bed. 3 times in a single night with an additional blow. My ex is on the other side of the wall, who said he'd be fine and probably off to the sounds, has a meltdown, like a full-on mental breakdown. Keeps calling and texting me. I mute my phone, too busy fondling this cute guy. Ex asks him to leave. No. Continue to for a few months onward. It was the most romantic experience for me because it was the best experience. Mind you, my ex broke up with me and would brag about all the dates he would go on, but he said he would let me bring guys over to my own house. Yeah, for a second there I thought you were just being a bag, but your ex kinda asked for it, and he kinda got what he deserved. Especially if he was the one who broke off the relationship with you, and then bragged to you about all the people he got with afterwards, and then couldn't tolerate you getting with people afterwards. That's his own fault. Alrighty, Now I got my own story for you guys. I'd say it's romantic. It's kind of out of some cheesy teenage drama novel. Anyways, so I met this girl on Tinder. We were talking back and forth pretty much daily, or it eventually escalated to daily, to which we were pretty much sending each other entire essays back and forth. Now our text started out as, standard back and forth, but then they started getting more raunchy and romantic. And she said she essentially just wanted a friends with benefits, but in order for her to feel comfortable with being friends with benefits, she needed to get to know the person that she's being a friends with benefits with more intimately. So a lot of our interactions, you wouldn't think were just friends with benefits. They were very romantic, very personal. So I'm guessing she just wanted the benefit of having the romanticism without the strings attached. So fast forward after a month of talking, we met up for the very first time. She wanted to meet up at a park so we could just go for a walk. So I drove over there and pulled up. She was parked on the side of a street, and I remember pulling up to her and sort of stopping next to her and rolling down my window and seeing her in person for the first time. She's a very cute, tomboy-looking Latina woman. She had very short black hair, super smooth brown skin. She was adorable. So I pulled over, parked, got out. When she saw me, she noticed that I was much taller than her. So she kind of got out and she grabbed me and lifted me up in the air as like a big old bear hug, of which she would pretty much do that every time we'd meet up afterwards, which, our friends with benefits thing lasted for like 3 months afterwards. And I'd pretty much just pull up to her house every weekend and we'd spend the weekend together and have some pretty crazy, ridiculous... I was the rebound for her during that time. She was broken up with her boyfriend. So we pretty much did all the stuff that she wanted to do with all the boyfriends she had before, but she just never did. So I filled that role. I guess it was very convenient for her. She was wearing a low cut, a high cut. You can see her stomach. Kind of like goth, emo-ish look. Black everything, right? Cut jeans, black cut jeans, a black top that was cut at the stomach so you could see her belly button. And a chain, like a metal chain around her neck. It was very stylish. She looked really good. So we essentially sat in her car, spoke for a little bit. I brought a bunch of croissants that I was going to give to her afterwards. She brought some mason jars and liquor. So we essentially filled up 2 mason jars with liquor and juice and another mason jar with the croissants. We just stuffed them in there and would eat them as we'd go for a walk. So we spent maybe the next 2 hours walking around in a big old park area. It was a mixture of a park with a bunch of trails, with a bunch of uneven ground, like playgrounds and recreational areas and basketball courts and such, mixed between wilderness and hiking trails. So we walked around until the sun went down, and then we went back to her car and we spoke for maybe another hour, hour and a half. And I remember this vividly. This is the most romantic part of this. Now, I've had plenty of romantic, intimate experiences with this person, but this was the very first time that I met up with this person. And this is the thing that very much sticks to mind. Everything else is just raunchy, degenerate crap. I remember we were talking back and forth, and I was going on a yapping spree after she was asking me about something. I don't remember what I was talking about, but I was yapping on. And then I saw her eyes kind of just drift down to my lips, and she was kind of just looking at it with like this weird mischievous smirk. I noticed her and I kind of slowed down, but I was still talking and yapping, of course. And she just grabbed her metal chain, wrapped it around my neck, and pulled me in. And we started making out. And we sat there kissing for like 20 to 30 minutes. And it was pretty awesome. So afterwards, for the next 3 or so months, she'd invite me over pretty much every single weekend. And we'd do all the normal dating romantic stuff, right? We'd go on walks together, we'd go out to eat, we'd watch movies together, we'd play games together, we'd have lots of we'd shower together, we'd sleep together in the same bed, we'd drink together, all that fun stuff. Until her boyfriend had a mental breakdown, crawled his way back into her life, and she curbed me so she can get back with him. That was exponentially painful. That hurt a lot. It was agreed upon that it was just friends with benefits. There really wasn't anything deeper, but there were clearly romantic undertones to every interaction we had. The types of things we were saying to each other, it wasn't just related. Stuff like, oh, I can't wait to go and travel with you on vacation, and rest my head on your shoulder while we're sitting on the train on our way to the destination. Yeah, just be careful, guys. Be careful out there. Out of everything, make sure to love yourself the most. Make sure to respect yourself the most. Thank you for watching.